Their mouths drip with blood, but instead of groans, you hear words. Clear, calm, human words. "Don't be afraid," one whispers as its teeth glisten in the light. Subscribe now before we go deeper, because what comes next will stay with you forever.
Be afraid.
The air is thick with rot, but the sound is worse. It is not the gurgling of corpses, but language. A voice that sounds like your neighbor, your brother, your child. You expect moans and hunger, but instead you hear pleading. "I remember you," it says, though its skin hangs in shreds. Every instinct tells you to run, yet the voice pulls you closer. If zombies could talk like humans, survival would not be a matter of weapons. It would be a matter of trust. Imagine the battlefield. A swarm of them rushes forward. Instead of silence, the chaos fills with conversation. One calls your name. Another bargains for mercy. A third laughs in a voice you once loved. You raise your gun, but your hand trembles. Do you pull the trigger when the target speaks your mother's words? Can you? Or do you wait long enough to be ripped apart? The line between human and monster dissolves with every syllable. They would not just stalk you, they would manipulate you. Every step becomes a game of deception. A whisper in the dark promises a safe path. A desperate cry asks for help. But is it memory or mimicry? What if their voices are nothing more than traps, perfect lures cast into the fog of fear? You follow one voice and it leads you to a dead end filled with teeth. You ignore another and perhaps you abandon someone still alive. Every choice cuts deep, and the doubt never leaves. Now picture the world's leaders facing this nightmare. Negotiation tables fill with the stench of decay. Cameras roll as a creature stands and speaks in fluent English or Mandarin or Arabic. Its words carry memory. It remembers who it was. "We are still here," it says. Do you believe it? Does a talking zombie deserve rights? Or is it still a corpse wearing a mask of humanity? Laws fracture, families split. Faith itself shudders under the weight of that question. And you, in your home, face the knock on your door. The voice outside is familiar. It's your best friend, your father, your child. The words are calm, the tone loving, but the smell that seeps through the cracks is undeniable. Flesh gone sour, breath like dirt and ashes. You grip the handle, torn between memory and survival. What would you do now? Open the door and risk your life, or seal it shut and crush your heart? The silence on the other side might kill you faster than any bite. Science would race to understand. Are these minds alive, or is it an echo wired into rotting brains? Some researchers would argue that language proves consciousness. Others would say it is only a mimic, like a parrot repeating words. But what if a zombie could recall your secrets, your childhood stories, your private fears? At what point does imitation cross into identity? The laboratories would be filled with test subjects strapped to steel chairs, their voices begging for freedom. The world would watch in horror as scalpel met skin, and the question hung heavy: is this science or cruelty? Now imagine the battlefield again. Soldiers advance, rifles aimed, but the dead do not charge, they negotiate. We want peace, they say in broken lines of memory. We remember hunger, but we remember love. The commander hesitates. A sniper steadies his scope, but the target raises its hands, trembling with intent. If words could calm a gun, wars would stall in silence. But if those words were lies, entire armies would fall in minutes. The cost of hesitation would be catastrophic. Your own survival shifts. Weapons alone are not enough. You must listen, analyze, and decide in seconds. Every voice could be the truth or trap. Every face could be a memory or a monster. The old rule was simple: shoot in the head, move fast, don't hesitate. But now, hesitation becomes the battlefield itself. Do you risk compassion or do you shut it off completely? Each choice scars you. Each mistake buries you in guilt. Picture the camps built in fear. Rows of cages, zombies behind bars, speaking like neighbors at a fence. Conversations echo through the night. They tell stories of their lives, their dreams, their last breaths. Guards cover their ears, but not all can resist. Some fall in love with voices they hear every night. Others break and open the cages. Inside, the line between prisoner and predator vanishes in blood. Humanity crumbles not from the bite, but from the confusion of the heart. The motif repeats. Don't be afraid. You hear it again, softer this time, carried on a dead woman's breath. Don't be afraid. Your skin crawls, yet your chest aches. What if the talking is real? What if the souls of the dead linger in the rotting shell? Would you destroy them, or would you search for a cure that restores the body to match the voice? Entire cities could turn into laboratories of mercy or fields of slaughter, depending on what you believe. Religion would erupt with conflict. Some would call it proof of the soul trapped in the flesh. Others would see it as the ultimate temptation, words spoken by devils through dead lips. Sermons would rise to fever pitch, warning believers not to listen. But silence is impossible when the voices are everywhere. Outside your window, across your radio, in your dreams. If the dead could talk, no faith would remain untouched. And what of love? A wife hears her husband's voice days after burying him. He stands in the garden, pale and broken, but his words are their wedding vows. She runs to him, blinded by tears, as neighbors scream warnings. Is that reunion salvation, or is it suicide? If love can blind, then words become weapons sharper than claws. The heart becomes the true battlefield. Governments might experiment in darker ways. A talking zombie could serve as a spy, a negotiator, a weapon of fear. Imagine enemy lines broken not by bullets, but by the cries of familiar voices. Your dead comrade calling you forward. Your fallen leader giving orders from a corpse's mouth. Wars fought with words, not silence. Could nations resist the temptation of such power, or would the world drown in lies? Now return to you. Alone in the street. The night is cold. You hear footsteps, slow and dragging. A figure approaches, its eyes clouded, its body ruined. Yet it speaks. I don't want to hurt you. You lift your weapon. The silence stretches. One squeeze, and the sound ends forever. One moment of mercy, and you risk everything. What would you do now? Kill to survive, or listen and gamble your soul? The motif returns once more. Don't be afraid. This time you whisper it to yourself, though your voice shakes. Because in this world, fear is not just of the bite, but of the doubt. Every choice carries weight. Every sound cuts deeper than silence. The world has changed, and so have you. If zombies could talk like humans, the apocalypse would not be ruled by hunger, but by words. Not by silence, but by doubt. And when the voices fade, when the last echo dies in the air, you will wonder what was real and what was only memory. Subscribe for more, and remember this final line. The scariest sound in the world is not the silence of the grave. It is the voice that comes after.